Good evening.
This is Sunday.
January the 13th, 2013.
I was going to say 19 something.
Nope.
I had a little
2013.
backflash there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's with the sweatshirt backwards?
I'm dressed a little funny as it's going to be a practical demonstration. I got an interesting response text to a video. My wife will read such response text. Go ahead.
Right now?
Yep.
Mike Green wrote, "Excuse me, I want to base jump and I have absolutely no skydiving experience. I really loved your video because you did something no other video has done. I'm curious when I get my first rig. How does the pilot chute explode out like that? I know it's not spring-loaded, but if you can please explain to me how it deploys like that. I was going to practice and do the exact same thing when I get my first rig. I'm just trying to gather as much intel as possible. Thank you. Good day, sir."
All right, so because I have posted some videos connected to skydiving, I feel an obligation to ensure people will completely understand the content therein. The video Mike is referencing is one where I have multiple people deploying their reserve pilot chute on their skydiving harnesses. So what Mike may not know is in each of those shots, it is a spring-loaded pilot chute launching out of the reserve container. Now he says he wants to be a base jumper, but he's not going to learn to skydive first. I would highly recommend learning to skydive before you become a base jumper, and here's where my practical demonstration comes in. The deployment of a parachute is essentially slightly controlled chaos. There's going to be a lot of airflow going past some fabric, and the last thing you want to have happen is something like this.
With the parachute or with your jacket?
Could be the parachute, could be the pilot chute, could be, if you're really not sure what you're doing, could be part of your clothing. Not a good thing. So the reason you want to learn to skydive first is because there's a whole lot of things about deployment of a parachute that you can get very good at. For example, a stable body position, which is essential for a base jump. I've done a few base jumps. If you cannot remain totally stable during the deployment on a base jump at low speed moving through the air, bad stuff can happen. And that's not good stuff. We're talking really bad stuff, as in life ending, or maybe in some cases you might be happy that life had ended if you could see what would have happened if your life hadn't ended, like as in paralysis at the neck and bad stuff.
So you don't want to base jump first because you don't have as much time. Is that it?
You don't have as much time, so you better be doing it right, and you need the skills that you would develop as a skydiver to be confident and precise to do it right as a base jumper, in my opinion.
What else? Other questions do you have? Okay, you answered the spring-loaded. How does the chute explode out like that? They're all spring-loaded?
On a reserve parachute for a skydiving rig, all over the reserve, well, there could be an oddball one, but the vast majority, the standard practice is for a reserve to be deployed by a spring-loaded pilot chute that leaps out, anchors in the air, and then drags out the bag containing the reserve parachute. So that's why they leap out, because they are spring-loaded. In a base jump, it's going to be manual deploy, which is why it's really important to be stable in the air, because when you fire the pilot chute out manually, if you're not stable, if you start to roll, then when deployment happens, bad stuff can happen. Even if it doesn't wrap around you, if it's asymmetrical, you can be flying into something twisted up, and you've got very little time to react when it's a base jump. So it's got to open on heading and fly in a straight line, almost guaranteed, or you're going to be in deep trouble.
Okay, so that's not recommended. He's going to do skydiving first and get really, really good at it. How many jumps did you do before you did a base jump?
I had hundreds of skydives before I did my first base jump. I think I was in maybe I was under 1,000, but I was in the like multi-hundreds, like 700 or more. Maybe I should check my logbook and find out. But I'm not saying you can't pull off a base jump, Mike. One of the best places to go if you're going to do a first base jump without a skydive is to go to Bridge Day. I think they still do Bridge Day in West Virginia. But I highly, highly, highly strongly suggest you go and you make some skydives so you'll be familiar with the equipment, because the last thing you want to do is hop off of a low structure, have a parachute open, and then when it's critical to be able to steer it, maneuver it, be kind of looking at something going, oh crap, what should I do? Because that's what the skydiving experience is good for, is you've got more time after deployment to experience and deal with something odd that you might later deal with on a base jump. Practice dealing with it in a skydiving situation where you have more time will train you to deal with it properly quickly when you're on a base jump.
So you wish Mike good luck, and you...
And I'd be happy to talk to him more online or maybe even phone call. I'm not sure where he lives, but there's base jumpers all over the place. There's skydivers all over the place. And most of the base jumpers I know started off as a skydiver, learned how to deal with malfunction situations or near malfunction situations, how to correct things, how to steer the canopy right after deployment. Some cases you can actually steer it during deployment when you get good, but you need practice. So Mike, I suggest you learn to skydive before you make your first base jump. And that's about all I have to say about that.
What about me? Do you recommend I learn to skydive?
Oh, I'd love to see this girl go skydiving.
It'd be funny.
Could be.
That's it, that's all.
Every once in a while I get the request, Alan, dig out your skydiving gear and learn to skydive again, or reacquaint yourself with skydiving and take me skydiving. I haven't made a jump in a few years now, but I was thinking of doing one this summer, and I was thinking of having Vincent Valentino document my return to the sky.
Who's he going to be attached to?
I was thinking we get Vincent Valentino to do a tandem skydive with a camera. We'd have to find a tandem instructor willing to do it this way, so he can actually, on his first skydive, document somebody else returning to skydiving. That would be awesome, but there's a lot of planning that would be required.
Have you told him that yet?
Oh, yes, I have.
What does he say?
He said that would be interesting.
That sounds like Mike.
Vincent. Not committed to it exactly, but he said that would be interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, that's all. I got to go edit. And we did this on the first take. Woohoo!
And you know what? If I was skydiving...
Skydiving. She went skydiving.
If I was skydiving, I'd do what that one lady did with you. And I would pee myself. So I'd have to wear Depends or something on my first skydive.
Yeah, when you're a tandem instructor, lots of interesting things can happen to you. People peeing. Yes. Passing out.
Maybe I'd do all of them.
Curling up in a ball, and that's not what you want.
Would you have to unfold me?
I have had to manually pull people out of the ball position to get things sorted out, yes, and it's not fun. No. And they don't pay you that much to be the tandem instructor, really. It's kind of a life and death kind of game, and they don't pay you that much, so yeah. Okay, that's it.
Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow. Oh, get the kiss of death.